And they're off in the Kent Stakes. The Tortoise breaks well, goes for that lead. Frostmourne moves up on the outside to get a position as they come down that chute. And it's going to be the Tortoise showing the way. Frostmourne nicely from the outside to the inside. Joel Rosario has perfect position with the favorite, racing second as they come toward the finish line the first time. Master Plan up on the outside of Adonis Creed, then a gap of 3.5 lengths to Zinger, even 4 lengths further back to the trailer Lunaire, who's already a dozen lengths off that lead as they race into the first turn. Opening quarter went in 24-4, and the Tortoise on the front end by about 4.5 lengths over the favorite Frostmourne. Master Plan is racing in third, followed by Adonis Creed in fourth. Then a gap of 4 lengths further back to Zinger, another 5 more to Lunaire. They reach the backstretch and the Tortoise to catch. Half went in 48-2 as they make their way down the Delaware backstretch. It's the Tortoise in front, opens up on the field now by about 6 or 7. Frostmourne still a patient second under Rosario. 2 lengths further back to Master Plan, followed by Adonis Creed. Then a gap of 3.5 to Zinger, and still 5 more to Lunaire, who has about 13 lengths to make up. It's the Tortoise controlling things on the front end as they race into the turn. The Tortoise and Brian Pedrosa trying to steal this one. Leads it now by about 2.5 lengths as Frostmourne is bearing down. Master Plan, Adonis Creed both trying to move up. Zinger still with a shot, and from the back of the pack, Lunaire lengthening stride nicely, still with a shot. It's wide open with 3/8 to go. Here comes Frostmourne to take on the Tortoise. Adonis Creed, Master Plan, Lunaire is circling up from Mike Smith as they turn for home. 5 across the track. Frostmourne has taken over. Frostmourne now leads it. Adonis Creed racing in the second, then Master Plan and Lunaire, but Frostmourne is well handled and has plenty left in the tank. It's Frostmourne striding away under Joel Rosario, will win the Kent by about 6 lengths. Master Plan getting second, followed by Adonis Creed and Lunaire.
What a dominating performance in the Kent Stakes, and Joel Rosario having himself a very good month thus far, guiding the 1-2 favorite home to an easy win in the Grade 3 Kent Stakes.
5 and 3. Todd, Dave.
One of the most anticipated races of the day is next. Although it, from a wagering standpoint, doesn't present a lot of opportunities, it is a chance to see Songbird. It is everything that embodies what we love about this sport of thoroughbred racing. There is $750,000 on the line, and because of all the great horses that have visited this race over the years, it is the Grade 1 Delaware Handicap. Looking at the 3, Weep No More.
Weep No More was 6th last time out in the Fleur-de-Lis at Churchill Downs and has not hit the board in 2 starts this year, and she's her second choice. I mean, this is such an easy spot for Songbird compared to every other race that she's had in her career. There are no beholders or paid-up subscriber. Catherine Sophia, Karina Mia, she looks every bit of a 1-9 shot. And again, the show pool, she has been getting absolutely crushed, closing in on $1.5 million to show on her. And then you have the scratch of the 6.
Great news, because we can go back to Delaware Park. Songbird is 1-9, and the field will be getting almost all the way to the top of the stretch here where they're going to start. What do you think ultimately we're going to see here? We're just going to see Mike Smith establish the lead early and trying to assert his superiority over this field. I mean, it doesn't look like anyone's even fast enough to go here. I mean, you have to. You want to stay out of trouble.
We're just about ready for a start. And they're off. In the Delaware Handicap, it's a good start for them all. As expected, Songbird on the outside will vie for that lead. Let's see who wants to go. Toward the inside, Miss Mo Kelly. Martini Glass is there. Then comes Line of Best Fit. And at the back of the pack now is Weep No More as they come by the home stretch the first time. And Mike Smith is not going to do very much on Songbird early on because the pace is sensible. Songbird opening quarter goes in 24-1. Leads him into that first turn. Songbird by 2 lengths. Line of Best Fit toward the outside of Martini Glass. Heads apart in second and third. Miss Mo Kelly saving ground toward the inside, and Weep No More is your trail. Only about 5 lengths separates the field as they make their way around the clubhouse turn. And Songbird and Mike Smith still sitting chilly. Leads it by 3. Martini Glass racing second. It's a length and a half further back the line of Best Fit. They quickly spread out a bit, followed by Miss Mo Kelly and Weep No More, the trailer, as they make their way down the Delaware backstretch. Half in a sensible 48-1. And still on cruise control is Songbird. She leads it by 2.5 lengths over Martini Glass. A length and a half further back the line of Best Fit. Then comes Miss Mo Kelly, and Weep No More continues the trail about 7 lengths off the lead, being set by Songbird as they approach the half-mile marker. They went the 6 furlongs in 12-3, and Songbird is still cruising along by length and a half. Martini Glass is trying to stay close. Line of Best Fit is still right there in third. Then comes Miss Mo Kelly and far back to Weep No More. They've got just over 3/8 to go. It's still Songbird in front. Martini Glass is trying to put some pressure on her now, edging a bit closer. Then a gap of 2 lengths to line of Best Fit. 5 more lengths further back to Miss Mo Kelly. Songbird has some company. Martini Glass is making a run as they turn for home. They went the mile in 1:37-2. Songbird on the inside. Now Mike Smith asking for a bit more. On the outside, Martini Glass is still making a race of it, as is line of Best Fit. It's Songbird digging in. Martini Glass is trying for the huge upset. Songbird is digging down. She's got Martini Glass, it appears. Rick Porter, you can go to the winner's circle. Songbird's going to win the Delaware Handicap. Martini Glass a game second. Line of Best Fit third. Far back to Miss Mo Kelly in fourth.
One of the best sons or daughters Medaglia d'Oro has ever produced. Songbird wins again. It is not in dominant style as you might have expected, and it does leave open some discussion as, is she as good this year as she was last year?
Not off of that, right?
Yeah.
Or even her race prior. She had to work
for it, yeah.
to beat a horse that was in a $16,000 starter allowance 2 starts back in Martini Glass. But the bottom line, she's won. She's done what she needed to do. How exciting for Vince Campanella and Nations Racing, though, to be in a stretch stool with Martini Glass against Songbird. That was thrilling, and even the horse that was in third wasn't beaten all that much.
The other big thrill, too, is Rick Porter of Fox Hill Farm. He was able to make it to the race today, despite the serious health issues that he's been dealing with. So it'll be a very emotional moment as she comes back to the winner's circle. Yes, as handicappers, we can sit back and talk about what does this mean, the slow final. Delaware, Fox Hill Farm, Songbird comes in to the winner's circle. Rick Porter standing alongside.
Love it.
And, you know, we all get those moments in our lives at some point, and you just kind of hope it doesn't come too soon to you. But those moments that make you realize that you can't take anything for granted. Rick Porter has walked to the winner's circle many times, but not under the circumstances that he's had over the last couple of years now, battling a serious illness, going through some experimental treatment in the Boston area. And so with Songbird coming out to the East Coast of Delaware, he was able to make the trip today and be there for this very special winner's picture.
Very special occasion, and it's only her second start of the year, so maybe it's too early to be saying, well, she should be winning by 4 and 5 lengths. Look, she's winning, and that's what's important.
But a lot of people are going to look at that 1.25 miles, 2:03 and 4, and wonder, and I would think there might be some riders on the other horses in the race who might be questioning their tactics in the end. Nobody wanted to go up there and put any pressure on her, and ultimately that may have made the difference. If someone had stayed with her, maybe she's not able to pull out the win here.
You know, Edwin Gonzalez was very adamant about holding back on the 4 line of Best Fit, and I think that paid off, though, because if he does engage, maybe the 4 gets last. In the end, he gets a third-place check in a $750.
Presented to you by Albasti Equiworld Dubai. This award going to Oscar Garcia, the groom of Klimt, for trainer Art Sherman on his comeback. The Grade 1 winner looks fantastic. Nice clean white wraps on his 2 hind ends, and he actually has some buns at the top of his head. They actually braided his forelock, so he looks fantastic today. Our best turned out award presented to you by Albasti Dubai Equiworld goes to Oscar Garcia.
And this award is really to recognize the efforts of the people behind the scenes who don't get a lot of attention. Yes, the trainer's name appears in the program, but there is the groom who's working with the horse day in and day out and has a lot to do with why they appear the way they do. Let's show you the post parade This is from approximately 6 minutes and 9 seconds ago. You have about 2 minutes to get to TVG.com and play. We start with the one Kim Bear. I thought this was an interesting horse, stretching back out to the 1 1/8 distance, beat half the field home at this distance in the Santa Anita Derby earlier this year.
But he's coming off 2 really good one-turn races. You still have to wonder, is he truly a 9-furlong horse? They believe in him, as trainer Eric Kruljak is going to give him another chance here in the Grade 3. The 2, Sistron, who comes in from Penn National, but was racing here in Southern California earlier on in his career for John Sadler, has hit the board now in 7 straight races.
Colonist goes through. He was beaten by older horses last time out. Coming back against 3-year-olds could help. B Squared is a California bred who was an okay second last time out in open company in the Grade 3 affirmed. There is our heavy favorite, the 5 West Coast. The 6 Klimt, he was the class of this 2-year-old division last year.
Yes.
And he just hasn't gotten on track until now. His first start as a 3-year-old. Scratch the 7 Milton Freewater. Our final horse in the post fray for trainer Doug O'Neill is the 8 Term of Art. He also sends out the 4 B Squared. B Squared up in the board at 12-1 for the O'Neill barn. And the longest shot in the field is the 8 Term of Art for the O'Neill barn at 25-1. Again, as we said, that was the post parade from a little while ago. You have about a minute to get to TVG.com and play. And TVG's got you covered with a very special promotion. Remember, you have to opt in at promos.tvg.com. But if you did, you are covered on today's 7th and 8th races with our money back special. Your first win bet in here is covered should that horse finish 2nd or 3rd at how much, Dave, will that win bet be covered?
You know, with the scratch of the 7 Milton Freewater and being only a 7-horse field, it actually only if you finish 2nd will the money back special apply, because that's the stipulation that we have. But I'm going to think that the 4 B Squared is the value play in here at 10-1. My top pick is West Coast. But do I want to bet 10-1 on West Coast and make 5 if he wins, and if he's 2nd, I get the money back? No, I want to bet 10-1 on a 10-1 shot, get a chance to make 100, and if he finishes 2nd, I'll get my money back, because I think the 4 B Squared's 2nd place effort last time out, the Battle of Midway, was a good race. Battle of Midway hit the board in this year's Kentucky Derby. What's wrong with B Squared here at 11-1? Nothing.
Yeah, and Battle of Midway was also the horse that was 2nd in the Santa Anita Derby before that effort in the Kentucky Derby. That's why I keep going back to Kim Bear. If you just look on beaten lengths, Kim Bear every bit as competitive as B Squared against the aforementioned Battle of Midway. But the horse that this race goes through is clearly that one right there, the 5 West Coast at 1-2. He was so dominant, as you saw in the open of our show, in the Easy Goer. That was on the Belmont Stakes. Moving into line is Klimt, who's up on the board as our 2nd choice at 7-1. He's not raced since last year. He used to be with Bob Baffert. He's now with trainer Art Sherman, as owner Kaleem Shah made a change out of the Baffert barn. But it is Bob Baffert's West Coast, our heavy favorite. Here's Bobby Newman.
And it was a perfect start. And Sistron, as expected, heads right out for the lead. Klimt is aggressive off the layoff and will challenge early on from the outside. B Squared is taken off the pace today. He's now wrangled back 3rd. West Coast just outside of him. Then Kim Bear, Term of Art, and Colonist near the back of the pack. Does not look like they're going very fast early on. A very compact field led by Sistron as they make their way around the first turn. It's Sistron through a 23-3 opening quarter mile, and he's just loping along in front 3/4 of a length, and Klimt has got him in his sights as they move to the backstretch, flanking him to the outside. Kim Bear saved all the ground. He's only 2 lengths away 3rd. B Squared runs in the 4th spot, and the favorite West Coast has made his way to the center of the track. He's got clear sailing about 4 lengths off the lead. Colonist with 6.5 lengths to make up, and long shot Term of Art has now dropped back to trail as Sistron leads Klimt up the backstretch run. 47-4, a very leisurely half mile for these good 3-year-olds. Sistron, Klimt 1-2 as they head for that final turn, and Kim Bear riding the rails in 3rd and getting a little bit closer. Looks like there's room at the inside for Kim Bear, and he's just a length and a half off the lead. B Squared still 4th, West Coast still 5th, and he hasn't moved yet. West Coast still plenty of work to do. He's 4 lengths away, and he's coming under a ride. Really deep water now for West Coast as Colonist ran right by him at the top of the stretch. Sistron, Klimt, Kim Bear dives down to the inside, and B Squared Squared in with a big shot now, and West Coast is now starting to uncoil with his best stride, and here he comes. West Coast down the stand side to the outside of B Squared and Klimt, and just like that, West Coast has taken over the lead, and he's drawing away in the Los Alamos Derby. West Coast did it, geared down by 3. A three-way photo for the minors between Klimt, B Squared, and Colonist.
It doesn't matter what division Bob Baffert has a contender in, they are just dominant when they are unleashed. And West Coast, I mean, this was a 1 1/8 race. He ran a 1 1/4.
You know what this was reminiscent of was California Chrome when he won the Winter Challenge here at Los Alamos, where Victor Espinoza drew post 10 and literally kept him 7 or 8 wide, knowing that he was on the best horse by far. Drayden Dyke did not mind being 6 or 7 wide into that first turn, 4 or 5 wide into the second turn, because he knew when he pushed the button on West Coast, he was on the best runner, and wow, was he good.
That is the first graded stakes win for this Keeneland graduate, West Coast, purchased at the Keeneland September sale in 2015 for $425,000. 2 to 5 favorite, winning clear. Son of Flatter, West Coast, for trainer Bob Baffert and Gary and Mary West. And even Bob has to be impressed here because, like we said, yeah, he's the 2 to 5 favorite going in, but he did not get a trip where there wasn't necessarily a straw in his path. And if there wasn't, it's because he was way wide out in the middle of the track. And you can find the sire of West Coast, Flatter, at Claiborne, where the 100-year tradition continues. And Flatter's an absolute bargain at $35,000. 2 to 5. So with West Coast, like we said, he's not even the best horse in his barn. That obviously belongs to Arrogate, who's the best horse in the world. We'll see Arrogate in the TVG San Diego Handicap exactly 1 week from today. But amongst the 3-year-olds that Bob had, look, Mastery, it was supposed to be his year. Injury precluded that. But what a rise here by West Coast.
I would have to think that the Travers is the next stop for this talented 3-year-old.
And TVG will be on site both at Del Mar and Saratoga for their big races. And if West Coast goes to the Travers, TVG will be there. Bob Baffert on hand to watch West Coast turn in this performance. And great for Gary and Mary West. Those silks have been carried for many years, and they have always been in search of a top quality dirt horse, even going back to Dollar Bill many, many moons ago. And they have a very good horse here in West Coast. They put a lot of money into the game, a lot of time and effort. So good to see it pay off for them. And Bob Baffert helping them realize some return on their investment.
Aside from the win in here, you got to really feel good for the connection of Klimt to be able to finish second off of that long, long layoff, beat everybody else but the winner, West Coast, and a nice stepping stone for them to move on to some bigger and better things with the Grade 1 winner.
And normally on our set, don't we have our cameraman James? I believe, and he's not here right now, but I believe he. Well, there he is. There he is. I couldn't see him behind him. There's a guy who's his doppelganger in the winner's circle right now. I was like, is he down there? But there is a look at Drayden Van Dyke, and that's a big story as well. Drayden Van Dyke is very close with jockey Mike Smith. Mike Smith was riding Songbird today on the Delaware Handicap because he's in demand as well. So Drayden Van Dyke got this mount. He had never ridden West Coast before, and the other part to Drayden Van Dyke, aside from hanging with the right people, said he came back from a very serious injury literally about 2 months ago.
Well, good for Drayden to get the win, but I don't think he can plan on riding this one anytime in the near future, because next time out, expect Mike Smith to be aboard West Coast once again, as he was when he went to New York to win the Easygoer. But who knows? There could be conflicts again with the racing schedule, with Songbird, with West Coast. But Drayden did what he needed to do, keep this horse out of trouble, keep him in the clear, stay wide, and get the win as the 2 to 5 favorite.
It is official. West Coast. He's great, and he's going on. The money back special, covering you if you had Klimt, who was second in here.
I think that's all. I wish I was getting my money back for third on B Squared.
Yeah, again,
but I don't think so.
You know, the money back special depends on how many horses are in the race, as Dave mentioned when we were promoting the money back special before this race. Anyhow, final time for the 1 1/8 West Coast. getting the mile and eighth at 1:48 and 3.